A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Argoni, and joining me, as always, what's his first name? Borland Hightower to my Arns Grimraker, it's John Campbell.
I love checks notes. Okay.
Sorry, there's a lot of made-up names in this issue, and I had to pick the dumbest ones.
Well, this is a wild one, folks. I gotta say, this is one of the... You know, what I love... I've said this before on this show. What I love is when because you manage the show a little bit more than I do, and you read ahead and check stuff. I really do just open up, well, on my iPad, these issues, not knowing anything about what I'm about to read. And boy, it is ever a surprise. And this week is no different.
Yes, indeed, because this week we are covering issue number 78 of the original Marvel Star Wars comic. This was released in December of 1983, and we have a creative team that looks familiar, but isn't the one that we've had recently.
Yeah. Okay, when I opened this up, I went, oh, God, did I click on the wrong one?
Yes, because we have...
But yeah,
David Michelini on our writing. We've got Bob Layton as an additional plotter / inker. We've got Luke McDonnell, who's not a name we've seen very often around here, on pencils. Glennis Oliver Naween on colors. Joe Rosen on letters. We've got a Louise Jones, eventually Simonson on edits. Really dropping the ball this week. And we've got a Jim Shooter riding high going, what's that? Print money? Okay.
And because Michelini's back, guess what else is back? Silly job titles for Jim Shooter. Because if you see here, he's listed as @editor.
Ah, because an all-terrain assault transport is also an and you can make that into a pun. I see. Jokes are funniest when explains.
Michelini was chuckling to himself, or whoever was doing this. To be fair, I don't know that it was him, but somebody running this book was doing
I think that's Joe Rosen having a good time.
Could easily be, for sure. Boy, oh boy. I will say, a lot of my theories about how this book was made seem confirmed by this week's issue.
Let's start with our cover here, because, at the end of last issue, we were promised a certain continuation of undercover missions by our friend... Lando Calrissian.
Yes, we
had Lando and Chewbacca the Wookiee starring in The Big Con. And you know what? Hold on, Big Con. We know you're excited to have a Lando Chewie. Let's instead do a fill-in issue that feels like it should have been put out, I don't know, a year ago.
Yeah. Oh boy. Because we have a cover here of some guy with a blaster.
Mm-hmm.
Because until I'm told in the comic, I will say, there is no attempt to make this guy look like the actor from the movies that played him.
No. Instead, we have the central character of the Black Freighter here in a Star Wars issue.
He does look like that, absolutely. What is this beard? And he is shooting at white furried creatures who, once again, are... Yeah, they're wampas. I mean, it could be anything, though, based on this cover.
I mean, based on the horns and the teeth, though, I mean, come on, that's a wampa.
Yes. I will say this issue does have the amazing title of Hoth Stuff.
So character TBD is firing his blaster while surrounded in darkness by incoming wampas. And, that can only mean one thing, and that is that we're back on Hoth for the aforementioned Hoth Stuff Baby Tonight.
Yeah, because we open it up and it's there it is, declared in big red letters, Hoth Stuff! !
Yeah, so we start off
person perspective of what we'll come to find is a Y-wing cockpit.
The size of Y-wings is a continually contracting and expanding thing.
Yep. because I don't. I'm looking at 2 rows of seats here when we see it, which I don't think is accurate.
We've seen Y-Wings in the past where people were able to get up and move to the back compartment.
Yeah, Y-Wings are, in the movies, basically another kind of fighter, essentially, right?
100%. They're a
In the
single-man flying bomber
This
craft.
comic
Sometimes
has
2
really-
seats. Sometimes.
Sometimes has 2 seats, but I mean that's the comics have really mistaken them for transport vehicles.
Yeah, because we start off with, this first-person perspective. They're closing in on the distance. We see across this starfield, there is a transport small in the distance, and a voice is saying, there it is. Our long-range sensors are picking up a transport. It's Wedge's ship. It's gotta be.
I mean, okay, and I'm like, okay, Wedge, okay. That's interesting. We haven't heard about him in a while.
It's true.
Yeah, and we look, we both love a Wedge Antilles. I think anyone who's listened to the show knows how much we love him. We'll get to the Rogue Squadron comics someday, which were a huge part of my Star Wars fandom as a kid.
Absolutely. No, we're going to get heavy into some Wedge stuff.
Wedge is absolutely one of my favorite Star Wars characters. I've got a Rogue Squadron sticker on my car. I'm all about this guy. So I'm like, all right, you want to do a Wedge story? That's great. We'll come to find out eventually, maybe we'll get into it. They may not be fully aware of who Wedge is, but that's okay. It's not. But anyway, immediately I will say the return of these artists. Who is this? Luke McDonnell? Actually, this is new, isn't it?
No. Luke McDonnell is kind of a new. He is a House Marvel guy. He's been around a little while, but I think he's maybe done a fill-in issue here and there on Star Wars. But for the most part, he's an unknown to us.
And I will say, God, the quality went down. Look at these likenesses.
Oh, look, sometimes you've got one male face and one female face, and you just got to share.
No, this is it, Guriardi. This is the one and only Star Wars comic he ever drew.
Oh, this is the only one. What do I know him from, then?
I mean, he did a lot of Spider-Man. He did some Iron Man. He kind of bounced around.
Yeah, I mean, like I say,
Savage sort of Conan.
That's probably it, honestly. Let's be perfectly honest here.
Oh, he did more work for... I have some of his Phantom comics that he did for DC, but yeah, he didn't really...
No, I know what I know him from. I know him from the 80s Hercules run.
The what was it?
He did a few issues of Hercules back in the 80s.
Oh, there you go. That would do it. Yeah.
A book that only me have read.
He's just a guy who never had like a long run on something where he could really define it. Looks like he did a lot of Suicide Squad, but once again, sort of here and there and here, And I think
he definitely has this like chiseled jaw, kind of like think the action figures for the original G.I. Joe. How you can only have so many molds of those. That's sort of what he's working with.
And that could be okay in like a superhero book, but when I'm supposed to believe this is Mark Hamill, and then don't even get me started on Leia. Jesus. Yeah.
Leia's face is constantly concording between sadness and shock.
There's something wrong with her eyes. I can't. There's an asymmetry there that's weirding me out. But anyway, and then they're talking to this guy. They say his name like Hightower. Is that his name?
Yeah, Borland Hightower.
Yeah, love him.
That character we all know and love.
Yeah, I know. But it is so weird when this just gets dropped in the middle of this arc where we were going to cut to a Lando and Chewie adventure, and then all of a sudden Luke and Leia are way away from where they were in the last issue, with a guy we don't know, but acting like, of course, they're looking for Wedge, and you're like, they are. When did that happen?
Right now is when it happened.
Yeah. And this was a holdover. I can confirm that from my limited research on this, that this was supposed to be an issue several months back and then got held for whatever reason and got stuck here. And I don't know why they decided to stick it here. I guess the issue that was supposed to be wasn't ready or something. I don't know. Yeah. Wikipedia doesn't have that answer.
I will say, this character, finally getting the spelling right. It's Borland Hightower, Barlon.
Borland Hightower, yeah.
Guess how many appearances he has had in all of Star Wars?
Is this one and done?
It is one and done,
Okay.
except for a particular story from the Empire Strikes Back Certain Point of View book, which of course famously like takes loose threads from old abandoned canons and kind of ties them back into knots.
Yeah. So this was issue 78. It was originally written as issue 73.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this came out 5 issues after when it was supposed to come out. But I guess they thought, let's hold it, and should there be some sort of breakdown in process where we can just drop this one in because it sort of could appear at any point.
Yeah, and they're not wrong. This is a frame narrative. We'll get into it, but we have our main characters here. Well, main characters and Balin Hightower.
Well, there's also some retconning here, although it's not necessarily contradicting anything, but there's this whole thing about like, oh, yeah, we left Wedge on Hoth, and I'm like, I mean, I guess that could be the story. We never see Wedge after the Battle of Hoth at Empire, but also this is news to me that he was like left behind.
Well, and especially seeing as this issue, which was, again, originally written to come out probably before Return of the Jedi, and now it's coming out after Return of the Jedi, where in Return of the Jedi, we definitively see Wedge at the Battle of the Second Death Star.
Correct. Yeah, Wedge, I mean, that's the thing about Wedge, right, is that he was the kind of lone representative of the X-Wing pilots collected, right? It's just like he's the guy who's in every battle and is always the other pilot that's not Luke. And so I think that's one of the cool things about Rogue Squadron was somebody kind of realizing, hey, there's been this other guy there that we're not celebrating who's clearly been a huge badass and has survived all the major battles as well.
He is the only X-Wing pilot to be able to stamp 2 Death Star kill logos on the side of his X-Wing.
I mean, I know everybody's talking about Luke, and Luke's great and whatever, but you're like, but Wedge is pretty awesome, man. That guy's been there the whole time. Played by the great Dennis Lawson, we should mention, which won't matter to this because this guy don't look like Dennis Lawson.
Well, it's fine. Nobody looks like anybody in this book.
Yeah, except for Hightower, who looks exactly like Hightower. I can't not think. I mean, it's my brain specifically. Obviously, there's a character named Hightower in the Police Academy movies, and who's also.
I'm aware. Yes.
Yeah.
That has to be a reference, right?
I can't because I mean he's a big black guy in the Police Academy movies. He doesn't look exactly like this, but it's not completely dissimilar. Yeah.
And so Luke is like, hey, we haven't seen Wedge since Hoth, but he's got to be alive on this transport. He just has to be. Luke raising his fist in indignity at the idea of Wedge being dead.
Dragoni, Police Academy has not come out yet.
Oh.
1984.
Oh.
Police Academy.
Well, now I don't know what this is a reference to. Purely
coincidental.
Wow. All right.
Nothing to do with Bubba Smith playing Moses Hightower in Police Academy.
I
know because there's 8 million Police Academy movies, we just assume they've always been with us.
Oh, to live in a world before Police Academy.
Before Police Academy. Well, because the 80s are about to be inundated with 7 of these damn movies. So. 7. There are 7 Police Academy movies, you guys. I keep thinking about doing an IP Squad season, but then I'm like, it'd be the same conversation every time. They're not that different, the movie. Like, it's a funny idea to do a season about it, but I don't know that it would be very good content.
Somebody does hijinks, somebody makes sound effects, and everyone's like, well, police.
Yeah, basically, our only thing would be like, and now Gutenberg was too good for them at this point. Anyway, so they're like, yeah, he has to be, and they fly towards this big ship.
It's one of the transports we saw escaping Hoth. It's like the big rounded ship that sort of looked like a big beak.
I just love, they've been desperately seeking Han Solo throughout this whole stretch of the comic. And now all of a sudden Luke's like, Wedge, my best buddy Wedge. I'm determined more than ever to save Wedge. And you're just like, isn't this like a year or like at least months after the Battle of Hoth, and only now are we going back for who has been retconned as Luke's lifelong best pal, Wedge Antilles.
Well, we'll get to the retcon here in a second,
Yeah.
because they get aboard this transport, and Luke's storming aboard going, Wedge, everyone, we have to search every inch of this ship, and Leia's like, slow down, what if we just scanned for life signs?
Yeah. And he's just like, I don't, no, come on, man. He's got to be. I mean, he's just like, no, don't let him be dead. I can't take it if Wedge is dead. No.
So Barlin takes Leia aside and is like, hey, I don't want to be that guy, but what the hell is up with Luke?
I just got to say, if this is the first time I'm meeting him, he is not living up to the legend. This guy is a mess.
Say, Princess, I hope I'm not out of line, but what's so special about one Star Warrior? He doesn't say Star Warrior, he just says Warrior, but they want to say Star Warrior.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's just like, he's Luke's oldest. Okay, here we go. Here we go, folks.
This is the retcon that, like, clearly what's happening here is Michelini is confusing Biggs Darklighter with Wedge Antilles and sort of combining the two characters. Because what Leia says here is the backstory of Biggs.
It really does scream like he didn't go back and watch it. He's just going, Wedge, wasn't that his friend? Okay, and then just started writing, right? Like he's going based on his loose, vague memory of the thing. And this is one of those where you just read it, and I have to imagine, even in 1983, how many people picked this up and went, what? Excuse me? I bet they were flooded with letters. I'm serious.
The number of nerds who pushed their glasses up their nose and then through the back of their head.
Oh, dear. This invented internet outrage before there was even an internet. It's crazy. So yeah, they just talk. He said he's Luke's oldest friend. They grew up together on Tatooine. They fought the Death Star together. And when Wedge didn't show up at the rendezvous after the Battle on Hoth, Luke was crushed. Well, we never saw that. But also, yes, they are referring to Biggs Darklighter, not Wedge Antilles.
Leia even goes on to say most brothers aren't as close as they were.
Yeah, which I love too. Is like all of a sudden Han doesn't matter, right? Like, I mean, isn't that like Han, like his brother who he's trying to get back?
What's particularly like poignant here for our purposes, being able to look back retrospectively, is that we know that there are scenes that contained Biggs that were cut from the original film, right?
Yep.
That really cemented Luke and Biggs's relationship. And those scenes appear in like novelizations, and we read about them in the comic book series. So nerds knew that those existed.
Yes. Well, they're in the novel. They were in. I mean, they weren't exactly like thrown away. It was pretty instantly known that there were big scenes. And yeah, if you're reading the comic, you may have also read the novelization that has all that stuff about Biggs as well.
Right. And even in the comic book adaptation, those scenes still kind of exist in certain like flashbacky forms. But to then not remember that sort of the poignant end of that sequence of Luke and Biggs' relationship is Biggs do die at Death Star, Darth Vader kill Biggs.
It's like, I mean, it's not a subtle moment in the movie.
Like, because in the original cut of the movie, there's only the scene of Luke and Biggs reuniting on Yavin, and then Biggs blowing up, and Luke going, no!
Because it actually stands out, and it always stood out to me as a kid before I knew about the deleted scenes, is like, even as a kid being like, that's weird story structure. Like, it's very, I think I've talked about that, where it's like, they either needed to include that stuff with Biggs at the beginning, or ditch him entirely. It is weird that there is just the second half of his story.
Right.
It is a very weird piece of that. Anyway, though, they've confused him. I did look on Wikipedia. I did not know this. I'm like, is Wedge from Tatooine? No. According to Wikipedia, he grew up on Corellia.
Yeah,
much like
he's a Corellian boy, though he's from like a richer house, the House of Antilles on Corellia. So he's not quite the gutter trash that Han Solo is.
I was going to say, so it's even they wouldn't have known each other. You know, I mean, it's
right.
Not every. By the way, this is also one of those classic things where it's like, not everybody needs to have a backstory with everybody else. No, some people can just admit. Anyway, though, they're like, look, there's log tapes here. Let me fire this up. the reaction of Luke when they play this recording and he's like, Wedge? Why, that's Wedge's voice. And honestly, do they even interact particularly? Beyond just being fellow pilots? Like, I never get much of a sense of a relationship in the movies between them beyond they are each doing their own thing in the middle of
They have a brief interaction in A New Hope when they're like doing the Death Star run, and Luke is like, "Get out of there, Wedge."
Yes. That's what I mean, though. It's all just like there's no like personal relationship. They are like comrades.
And at the Battle of Hoth, like Wedge is the one to do the first grappling shot that takes down the first AT-AT because Luke suggests it.
Right, but that's the thing. It's like
he says, "Hooah, good shot, Jansen."
They're work friends, right? I mean, like I know him from work.
That relationship is expanded on in like novels and, like you said, the Rogue Squadron stuff.
I'm just talking about up to this point.
Yeah,
there really is no and like even when he's at the celebration of the destruction of the second Death Star, Wedge is kind of off to the side. Like he's not like hanging out with the main crew.
He's hanging out with Nyen Nyub and like Commander Riken and all those guys that are like, good job.
Those are his buddies. That's who he goes out drinking with.
Wedge gives a high five to Mon Mothma and then goes to the other side of the party because that's about as close to her as he gets.
But I just, that's a thing. That's kind of one of the things I like about Wedge is that he is not amongst the trio of heroes per se. He is the more workaday soldier. And I like that he has his own life. Anyway, but also Luke ages about 20 years in this drawing.
Yeah.
Weather all of a sudden. Anyway, then we hear this is Wedge Antilles. And I guess I might as well tell my story. And then a man who looks nothing like Wedge Antilles shows up. It is the most generic dude.
And doesn't even look like Biggs Darklighter because he has Sans enormous mustache.
Which is the defining trait of Biggs Darklighter, for sure.
So yes, the rest of this issue is going to be a combination of narration from quote-unquote Wedge and how he survived the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah.
A guy who basically looks like John Carter of Mars begins to narrate.
God, the one thing I never expected is how much similarity there is between John Carter of Mars and this Star Wars comic. I mean, I know it was an influence on Lucas, but the idea
just how deep the Venn diagram goes, yeah.
Can I say that I'm on, what is this, StarWars.com databank, and I'm looking at Wedge's page, and I just like that memorable quotes are from the movies are not great for Wedge. You have, look at the size of that thing. That's impossible even for a computer. And then the aforementioned good shot Jansen. Those are the memorable quotes of Wedge Antilles. Because we love him as fans, like a lot of stuff, because he got greatly expanded on. But yeah, in the movies, all of his lines are just like over a comm going, "I'm going in."
Hey, do you know how many more lines Wedge Antilles has than Boba Fett? Because it's like twice as many.
A ton, yeah, absolutely. No question about it. Yeah, anyway, I just thought that was funny that, like, of course, all of his memorable quotes.
Yeah. So we're getting the story here. We flash back to the Battle of Hoth. Everyone remember Hoth? Everyone loved Hoth.
It really does feel a little bit like that, right? It's like, hey, man, remember the coolest scene in Empire? And he goes, I guess I should start my start. Now he looks like Wolverine up in the crazy hair. I like that even they're not looking like Dennis Lawson figure isn't consistent.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would say this feels rushed, except for this was held behind. So I don't know. Anyway, so we flash back to the Battle of Hoth, and basically we're like, after you guys took off, I crash landed.
Yeah. So I will say one of the fun things about this issue that I did enjoy is this whole running dialogue we have from Wedge's perspective, quote unquote Wedge, about what's happening here and how it can sometimes be at odds with the art. I think that is very creative storytelling.
I think this is a good idea for an issue. Absolutely. Yeah. But and the whole idea too, talk about like from a certain point of view, it is like a cool idea to be like, hey, what was Wedge doing from the end of Empire to the beginning of Jedi is something you could do. But that would require you to know who Wedge This would be
Which
helpful.
I'm all about this comic, like, expanding its roster of characters beyond our heroes, because that gives us more unique storytelling opportunities.
That's actually something they should do more of. So for a split second, you're like, hey, is this? And then you're like, oh, but they just botched it big time. Yeah. Anyway, and I also like his quick backstory. He goes, so anyway, I hopped into my assigned Y-Wing with Jansen, hey, the aforementioned Jansen, who we discover was his ex-roommate at the academy and a swell fellow to boot.
Hey. But anyway, as we were flying away, an AT-AT shot us and we crashed.
Yeah. And so, oh no, they ka-whoomshed into the ground.
They ka-whoomsh, and then it is followed by a pa-boom as the Y-Wing explodes, but not before Wedge manages to drag a very wounded Jansen away from the wreck.
And this is actually also, I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due and not just totally bag on this. Like I said, there's some key things here, but I do like the idea of them hiding out in the, like, decapitated head of an AT-AT. Yeah,
because on the next page, we see them dragging themselves over, and this is where I'm talking about. So we get them getting inside the, like, blown up carcass of this AT-AT, and we get this narration from Wedge saying, luckily, the crew was too busy being dead to notice.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean, I will say, I do like Michelini's, like, hard-boiled narration here.
Totally.
There's a lot.
That's the thing with Michelini. Like, I don't think he's a bad writer. I just think he was always a weird fit for Star Wars.
No, because I think I'm a big fan of his Spider-Man. I mean, he wrote some great Spider-Man, and I mean, a lot of stuff. He's a very good writer. Yeah, he just, I don't know what level of fandom he was for Star Wars. I don't know if this was like one of those things where it's like, Dave, you're writing Star Wars, and you're like, oh, okay.
And again, I don't think we should make being a fan of the thing a prerequisite for writing a good story in it, but having a solid grasp on the character voices and, like, the world itself is kind of a prerequisite to writing these stories.
Yeah, I think him confusing Wedge for Biggs is a big indication of maybe a carelessness at the very least.
Sure, and I think that might have also slipped by editorial, and I don't want to heap any blame on Louise Simonson in this era Jones, but the fact that she didn't catch the fact that this is a character who A, is alive, and B, is not Biggs Darklighter. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not great. And that while this is a cool idea for an issue, and I think there's some good writing in it, that is a fundamental flaw in this thing that unfortunately makes it hard to enjoy.
Yeah. So anyway, they're camping out in this dead AT-AT. They got a heat stick that is definitely not shaped like a dildo.
I don't even know, why would you suggest such a thing, Gargoni? Get your mind in the gutter.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's impossible. Also, it's just like, what? Okay.
It's got a flared base. I don't know what to tell you, John.
Can we also talk about that in this panel, this next panel, when we turn the page where they're walking out through the snow, they are the same guy, just with different hair.
Damn, you're right. They've got the same jawline and everything. And suddenly they both have 5 o'clock shadow, even though it's been a day.
They have they have the same jawline, and not only they have the exact same 5 o'clock shadow.
And basically the same hair, just colored differently. Well, no, Jansen's got bangs.
No, it's that the hair is different, and they've made him a little bit shorter. But other than that, he is the same guy.
Well, he's only shorter because he's hanging on to Wedge's shoulder there. Yeah.
But it is crazy throughout this whole thing that I kept going. Like, they are the same guy with different hair.
Well,
no wonder they became best buds.
Yeah, at least they do have different hair. There are some comic books where you really can't tell people apart if they're not in their superhero costumes.
Oh, for sure. I kind of wanted to cut back to Luke when Wedge is like, and he was my best pal at the academy, and Luke being like, I thought I was his best friend. What? Oh. What?
Again, confusing Wedge with Biggs here, because, like, Biggs is the one that went off to the academy and left Luke behind, right?
Yeah, Luke didn't know Wedge prior to joining the rebellion.
Right. But anyway, I do like the bits here where they're moving back through the battlefield the day after the Empire's pulled out, and Wedge making some comments here that, like, the Empire didn't care about recovering any of their dead or any of their gear. They just got the heck out of here after this battle was over.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And obviously they were chasing the Millennium Falcon, so that's why.
Yeah, we saw that. That fits. Oh, Good, Michelini. You did remember Empire Strikes Back, it seems like.
Kinda. He remembers
anyway,
Empire. He doesn't remember A New Hope.
yeah. So they make it back to Echo Base.
Yeah. Remember Echo Base?
Well, I also remember what happened to Echo Base in the comic that didn't happen in the movie that's going to be important here.
It got invaded by Wampas?
Yeah, overrun by Wampas.
Because, yeah, as soon as they're inside, it sounded like a good plan. And it was, until we actually got inside the base and heard, Grarg!
The one thing we didn't count on, lousy with Wampas.
Naturally, Jansen wanted to take him right away. And we get Jansen's actual dialogue saying, Wedge, maybe staying in that walker wasn't such a bad idea.
In actuality, he was pissing his pants, folks. As he should. I mean, what are you going to do?
So their plan here is to get to the turret control room, because it's like a nice secure location where they can keep safe.
Right.
But they've got to make it past some angry Wampas, but they do.
And then, I almost called him Biggs because that's what I keep thinking of him as. Wedge looks at a monitor there, and then he starts running through the halls, and is this where he comes upon the Wampas about to eat a tauntaun?
Well, we established that they find it to the control. They also find a storeroom full of what looks like canned beans. That's probably what it is.
Damn it, Leia, we're running low on beans again. Everybody remember that scene?
I think it's... yeah, that actually did happen in that one Han Solo issue where they were stuck in that cave.
Yeah, thank God I brought these beans.
But he finds some food, he finds a console, and they're like, okay, but we don't really have power, so I gotta go into the rest of the base. But I also figure out, once I've got everything turned on, that, the Empire's still kind of hanging around. They've got a patrol of TIE fighters up in orbit, so if I send a signal for help, they're gonna know.
That they haven't completely abandoned the planet, they're still circling above.
Yeah, and this is, like you say, this is a pretty solid, like, war story kind of idea of trapped behind enemy lines, can't send a signal out, we just gotta survive and hope that the patrols leave or that somebody comes back to find us.
Absolutely.
And while he's trying to think about all this, he hears the sounds of a fight, a big fight.
What's this? It's a couple of Wampas about to eat a tauntaun.
Yeah, and man, that tauntaun looks like it's in a bad way, but most tauntauns do.
It's true. And Wedge basically is just like, not today.
So yeah, now Wedge has got to fight some Wampas. He shoots one of them. It goes down. Then he gets smacked. He's rolling across the floor, and he plays chicken right up until the other Wampas right on top of him. And then he shoots its freaking head off.
So I played dead. He fell for it, and that little mistake cost him the game. Along with, I'm happy to add, a goodly portion of his scruffy-looking skull. Talk about like some Mike Hammer shit, like just total like. My 45 took his face off, like, Jesus. It is so
They called him good-looking Mick, but he ain't so good-looking now.
It has that vibe to it where I was like, wow, this take on Wedge is that he's just this, like, stone-cold badass.
I'm fine with that.
I expected a panel where he blows the smoke off the barrel of his blaster, right? Like...
But anyway, he rescues this tauntaun and calms it down, and this is going to be an important survival mechanism going forward.
Indeed. And so I love the cut back to this trio to be like, yes, they're still listening to this.
And we then cut back to Wedge and Jansen, and now they're in survival mode. Jansen's still really hurt, and Wedge can't do a lot to help him. So Jansen's laid up in sort of a trauma bed situation.
But he can cook up some beans on a hot plate.
He can cook up some beans on a hot plate, but they eventually do run out of beans. And as we continue to go, we see more and more Wedge beard coming in.
Yeah. And also Wedge remembers his best gal.
Which... Sure. Okay, fine. Like,
I mean,
Belina is the name of just some woman? Are we supposed to know who this is?
Yeah. No, I don't think we're supposed to know who this is. I think
Okay.
it's just that he had a girl back on Tatooine, where he
Okay.
definitely was born and raised.
Belina is only ever mentioned in this book. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get the sense it was, but there. I mean, what's interesting about this is that the impetus of this comic is correct to fill in Wedge. It's just it will be done better and clearer in later comics like the Rogue Squadron stuff.
Oh, I love this note on Wikipedia. Due to the dubious nature of this story and the contradictory backstory given to Wedge, it is unknown if Belina actually existed or simply a fabrication of Wedge's story.
Wow. Now that's an interesting read on this. I never had that thought that he's just like, oh yeah, and I totally have a girlfriend too.
My girlfriend back home in Space Canada.
Yeah, she's a model. You guys wouldn't know her though. She went to a different school.
She went to a different school. She went to a different academy.
Yeah, it's a whole thing anyway. Yeah, but she's totally real. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, interesting read. I do like that he just has a picture of her.
You know, like you do. Your
But
best gal.
It's pretty big for him to like have this in his pocket, I will say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Photos in Star Wars are an interesting.
Have we ever seen a like photograph in Star Wars? It's all just like hollow images, right?
It's always hollow images. That's what it should be. Is like the little projector and then like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't think
or
we've
like
ever
we've seen like murals depicting people, I guess. But
yeah,
like,
but that's artist renderings. We've never seen anyone. Yeah, we've never seen a photo that I can ever remember seeing. Someone will write in going like, "You forgot that episode of Clone Wars," and I'm sure we did, but I would venture to say no. I feel fairly confident in saying we've never seen a proper photograph.
All right, so Wedge is telling us now that they're running out of supply, so he has to start hunting people. So he's out on Tauntaun back hunting these ice scrabblers. He's trying to keep Jansen healthy, but it's not going well.
No, he's in a bad way.
But he's at the same time, he's also watching those Imperial TIE fighters just going round and around, trying to wait for some opportunity to make contact.
How long there for? I mean, it's a while, right?
I would at least a month, right?
It seems like it, like the way, because he talks about like, yeah, sure, life got, kind of boring, which it would take a while for things to get boring, I would imagine.
It's just the routine of survival. But anyway, the boredom is quickly interrupted by duplicitous murder.
Yeah, because Wedge comes back
from a hunt.
Yeah, and finds Jansen has been slaughtered, as he says.
The cannon turret's been wrecked, electronic components had been torn out of the consoles, supplies had been scattered all over, and Jansen, poor Jansen, was helpless. Was a helpless man who was dying anyway, had been slaughtered.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
But yeah, and I like had been carved up and left to rot by someone who knew their business and obviously enjoyed it. God, it's so hard boiled.
It's so hard boiled. Yeah, this
bastard carved him up.
I want to hear this narration on the like steamy streets of Coruscant, right?
I don't think it should. It was a dark, cold night on Coruscant.
They say Coruscant goes all the way to the skies, but what most people know is that it also goes all the way down to hell.
I was a lone man with only a blaster to keep me company. I'm just like, wow. Forget, we're in the wrong Harrison Ford sci-fi thing. We're in Blade Runner territory now. Jesus. Anyway, yeah. It's so. All right. Let's get to maybe the goofiest part of this, though.
Oh, when you say goofiest, I think you mean best, because this is what got me back into this issue.
Are the totally non-Star Wars designed aliens that show up?
Because Wedge tracks whoever this was out into the snow, and he tracks them all the way to a leftover transport ship, the same one we saw at the beginning of the issue, and it has been reconnoitered by scavengers.
Scavengers. I love the idea of scavengers are broadly a concept, but also like appear to be a group working together.
The scum of the galaxy, misfits who follow the paths of battle, stealing anything they can, sell, making their profit from the pain of war. Heck, most shoot their own mothers for a second-hand droid motivator.
And they are this. If there was ever a time to come over to our YouTube channel to look at the specific art of it, these scavengers, man.
Okay, let's start with the first two we see here, and we'll, if there are any other notables, we'll get there. But these two are indicative of just how wild some of these aliens we're going to see.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
The first one is some kind of lizard man in a bubble, like retro-futurist sci-fi helmet. Its arms are a pair of tentacles that are wrapped around each other to create a limb of some kind, and it is wearing a purple Jetsons spacesuit with a like zap gun held in its tentacle.
I mean, it's a straight up Flash Gordon or Buck Rogers villain. But I gotta say, what I like about it is, so it's so far off model for a Star Wars character. But what I like about it is, it's not a lazy design; it's over design. Like they put too much. There's too much going on with this guy. Can I say, like, the bubble on his head? I love that it's shaped. It's not like a big round bubble. It's like it's got two kind of bubbly, and then it comes in, and then there's a bubble on top. Like he had this custom made for his head.
What always gets me about space bubbles like this is, how do you take it off? Because the bottom of it is clearly smaller than the head that's inside of it.
He's living in this thing permanently, clearly.
But I personally way more love the second alien here.
The other guy is utter nonsense.
Who is a furry potato dressed in a BDSM, like, sex harness? I don't know how to describe this.
No, I mean, that's whatever you're picturing from the term sex harness is probably accurate to what we're looking at here. So,
and it has several stalk-like appendages coming out at the bottom, at the midsection, and at the top. And the top is maybe the head, with 3 eyes and a couple of dangly, like, alien, like, kids costume antennas. And the appendages are all these, like, ribbed tentacular things. The 2 mid ones also end in furry poofs.
What I like about this is whoever gave the note of no hands. None of these guys should have proper hands. They all need like weird tentacles. Very interesting choice. And then behind them there's just like a robot suit of armor.
And on the next page we'll get our introduction to also the leader of the bunch, who is just Deathlock.
Yes, 100%.
But is in fact named Arns Grimraker.
He's a Caucasian Deathlock, is exactly right.
Deathlock, of course, being the cyborg assassin of Marvel Comics fame.
Oh yeah. Oh, you shouldn't have to tell this audience who Deathlock is.
I'm just, for those who don't know.
Yeah, in case you don't know, in case you haven't heard.
But even Wedge recognizes Arns Grimraker, because apparently he is such a well-known scallywag that the rebellion has crossed swords with him in the past.
Could it be? It is. And then, okay, we are about to get to my favorite alien, which is the spindly.
Well, hold on. Guy. We have to have a sad section where Wedge buries Jansen.
Yeah, sorry about this. Yeah, he does bury his old buddy Jansen.
And he starts concocting a plan to get one over on these damn scavengers.
Absolutely, because they've got it coming.
But yes, on this next page, we get yet another menagerie of weirdos.
Okay, so we've got... I mean, geez, there's too many guys here to even talk about.
Okay, I'm just going to go from left from right on the top of here, because, okay, at the far back on the left, we have Cousin It.
No question.
Straight up. Yeah. Then we have some kind of xenomorph, but from the lower jaw down, he's got a harmonica welded to his face.
I would actually say he's closer to the alien from Independence Day.
Yes, good call.
That head is very similar.
To the right, we have Cyclops, literally, Cthulhu.
Cyclops Cthulhu, also in Bubble Helmet.
Also in Bubble Helmet. To his right, we have knockoff Battlestar Galactica bad guy.
They didn't want me for the Cylon part. Agent said I was a shoo-in.
This is from War Sun Galaxine, is this character is from.
Yeah, okay. We're going to get to my favorite guy. Let's talk about these two guys that Wedge runs past here on the next panel, which is a three-legged purple guy that's just a head.
Yep, we love him.
But my favorite guy is the tall, weird lizard-type guy who's smoking a cigarette.
God, the weird... Seeing a character who isn't humanoid really in any way, shape, or form, except for like 2 arms and 2 legs. Because he has like weird flesh pulled over separated bones for limbs. Yeah. He's got this weird S-shaped body like Trogdor the Burninator, and his head consists of 2 beady red eyes and a couple of snoots like straws coming out of the front of his face. And he is holding a cigarette up to one of those snoots in one of these weird bony appendages.
And he's just like, don't bother me, I'm on my smoke break.
Union mandated 10 minutes.
Like, even the way he's got his gun just kind of slung down like, hey, pal, off duty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ons Grimraker can say whatever he wants. I know my rights.
Hey, come on, bud. I got 5 more minutes on the smoke break. You know it. Yeah. And Wedge, of course, sneaks past him. And just the idea of these, he's talking to the little guy with the head, just being like, you scavenging anything good today?
Oh, you know it, but I'm scavenging like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, these guys, hey, we're Scavenger Union 404, baby. Anyway, so he's able to get into one of these ships.
Well, he is going to pull he's going full A-team on this one. He's running from ship to ship, sabotaging stuff, putting gum underneath gas pedals and jamming bananas into exhaust pipes.
I'm getting to know Spaceship Hannibal.
But his goal here is eventually to get aboard the transport ship and steal that. But he's got to make a distraction to let him do that. And how he's distracting people is...
He programs this is a total G.I. Joe vehicle, the little like snowmobile that's just guns.
I was going to say, this is a G.I. Joe playset unto itself that clearly doesn't come with any characters you want, but Snow Job might be included with this vehicle.
Look, whatever set you're buying, you're getting a Snow Job because we got to sell off our stock, okay? But so anyway, he sets up this this little gun car to open up on one of the big... I mean, it really is. It's just a car to transport big guns around.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sets that up to start shooting at one of the other big ships, and then I guess it starts shooting at anything.
It opens fire on one of the big ships, and then it just starts shooting guys.
He says it started rolling and firing, taking out equipment and personnel at random.
Yeah, so it's just scooting around, shooting guys, and he's trying to sneak aboard this transport, and he does. Meanwhile, another just absolute weirdo is here talking in... Okay, so some aliens get their own little speech bubbles. This one's speech bubble is... a cowboy lasso? I don't understand what's happening here.
Am I supposed to kind of give him sort of a cowboy voice then? He goes, glick the ship, glick, take it off, glick, oh, yep.
And it looks like a weird bug monster with a bunch of teeth coming out the front.
Oh, yeah.
And he is being accompanied by a absolute Cobra knockoff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, a reject from the Micronauts, maybe too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That coloring is definitely very Micronauty. But who stupidly opens up on this big transport ship with a handgun? Like that's going to do anything?
That always works, every time.
And then knockoff Deathlock is like, "What the fuck's going on? You guys are hey." And
nobody steals from Arns Grimraker and lives.
Arn's Grimbreaker is, I gotta say, both very Star Warsy, but also maybe slightly too silly for Star Wars. It's like right on the edge of a possible Star Wars name.
Grimraker is one of those last names where it's like, you gave that to yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's so bad guy, right? It's just so ridiculously bad guy. So
anyway, he gets out.
Wedge takes off, yeah. And now everyone's in hot pursuit.
But Wedge also knew that there is that TIE fighter escort bumming around up in space, so he's leading these scavengers right into their path.
I mean, it's good stuff. It's good. It's smart plans from our pal Wedge, or Biggs, as he really is, who's alive somehow. And now he's full on with the full beard and everything. He just looks like a young General Dodonna.
But he manages his escape, but at what cost? Because with the transport incredibly damaged and with no food or supplies really to speak of, he is doomed to starve to death on this here derelict ship. And that is the last of the log that our heroes hear.
This little crate he finds has just got some cans of something in it.
Beans.
Emergency ration. Yeah, bean. I mean, I guess now anytime they talk about emergency rations in Star Wars, I can just assume it's beans.
It's just a can of beans, yeah. Unless it's stated otherwise, I'm going to assume they're cans of beans.
Yeah, tell me other. Yeah, I default to beans. Tell me otherwise.
Full of protein, shelf stable.
Anyway, yeah, and so he says it's just a matter of time, and Luke's like, but how much time? Wedge didn't specify. And also, there's no sense of when this was recorded or anything.
No, it doesn't list a star date at all. Very inconvenient of him.
Anyway, and Luke is just like, oh, God, he's probably dead. This is real character assassination for Luke in this issue, I will say.
Yeah, so Luke's inconsolable, but then, thankfully, Hightower's is like, hey, what's that behind you, Luke?
Why, it's Wedge in a crazy, very Marvel designed spacesuit.
Oh, this is Wedge Antilles, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a S.H.I.E.L.D. branded spacesuit. Yeah. I just met this guy named Nick Fury.
He told me something about the Avengers Initiative, and then he left.
Yeah. So they open up the airlock. In comes Wedge. He and Luke are so thrilled because, once again, lifelong best buds.
They've known each other since childhood, of course.
Yeah, they grew up together, the best of friends.
And Wedge is like, sorry, I had to step out for a second. I mean, is the gist of it here.
Yeah. And now
he actually went to go to get supplies and then come back.
Yeah. He is just like, that's right, Luke, I got pretty hungry before I realized that I was sitting right on top of everything I needed. So actually, it turns out this entire thing was pointless.
Yep.
Like
the end.
Like I created this turmoil for no reason. And so anyway, he's just like, all right, and then everybody's like, well, that's great, Wedge. Anyway, that's another issue we were able to put out this month.
There's not even next time on this one, because again, this was such a fill-in issue from months ago.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, it happens sometimes. It's unfortunate.
It does. I mean, there are fill-in issues, and who knows? Once again, I don't know if there was something about the other one was late, and they're like, well, we already have that one lying around or something. I think back then they did keep things sort of on ice in case that happened. We've seen this before.
Oh, for sure. Look, we can trace over whole issues of John Carter in case that happens.
I mean, that was unacceptable. That was like, all right, there's a bridge too far.
But yeah, that's it for this issue. John, what's the best way people can support us if they like us covering things like this?
Oh, absolutely. You can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup. That's punchup ENT. You get cool exclusive bonus content from all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network, including full archives of our old shows. We don't mention this enough, but if you were a fan of some of our past shows that we no longer do, all of those are archived, including old episodes of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, old episodes of Panel Up. I think either there are some on there, or we're still working on getting the entire backlog of our old comic book show, Panel on Panels, is still on. It's going to be on there. So there's lots of content and different levels you can help support us at, as well as get cool exclusive content. So once again, that's patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchup ENT.
Sorry, I have to pause really quick. I think my dog is throwing up right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
No.
I know it's right at the end. Sorry about that. I just had to make sure it wasn't happening on the bed.
Yeah, I agreed on that. My cat, Columbo, loves to specifically vomit on the bed.
Yeah. All right, let me grab a timestamp real quick to know where you can cut it back in. Yep.
I just finished the Patreon raid.
And of course, if you want to enjoy this show in another fashion, you can do so over on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. There you can also find a lot of stuff that we've done in the past, because that's how the internet works.
You can, and there's cool stuff coming. More video content is coming your way. So you want to make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications.
Absolutely. Let us know in the comments below, what are two characters that you think could have been fused together in Star Wars and save somebody a lot of trouble? Personally, I think if we just combined R2-D2 and C-3PO, maybe we could get somewhere in the middle with just a singular droid character. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, if we combine Mace Windu and Kit Fisto into one all-powerful, super badass Jedi Knight, I'm just saying, I think Order 66 would have gone down a lot differently, folks.
A lot differently. Fair enough. I think that is going to do it for us this week. As always, I have been Mike Ergoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.